Let's roll! Right, welcome back to Real Talk. It's been... How many months has it been now? It's been about 3 months, hasn't it?
No, it's been
It's been
a month and a half.
November.
Yeah, almost 2 months actually now.
Yeah.
Been way too long either way. We know you miss our faces, or at least my face. I don't know about Jamal too much. But we've got... I'm already ripping into you. I'm already ripping into you.
Come on. This is the first time we see
You
each other
can
in
you can
ages,
get
bro.
me back later on in the episode. But we're going to be doing
Wow.
our top 10 list today.
We are.
Because like
So,
you said, it's been a while.
it has been a while, and we want to give everyone the opportunity to... Before we look ahead to what's going to be an amazing year this year in the world of cinema, we want to reflect on how amazing 2018 was, because it was one of the best years in cinematic history, really, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, making this top 10 list was actually one of the most difficult things.
So hard.
Like, honestly, there's films I left out, one of them being, spoiler, Black Panther. Like, if you were to tell me that I wasn't going to have Black Panther in my list, I would have slapped you in the face.
Yeah.
Incredibles 2 isn't on my list either, and I loved Incredibles 2.
I don't really care for it.
I enjoyed Mary Poppins Returns, didn't make it. Bumblebee, the best Transformers movie ever, didn't make it into my top 10.
Yeah, I've got some as well. I know that me and you had quite the experience watching it, but it really affected me. Suspiria.
Yeah, we talked about
I've never seen...
We watched that yesterday, you know?
You watched it yesterday?
I rewatched it yesterday, and I told you I never would rewatch it again, but I did. And you know what? I still think, as we talked about in our Suspiria review...
You felt the same, did you? Or...
I feel the same. I feel like what they went for, they achieved.
Yeah.
I just personally, it wasn't to my
It was just so captivating.
But no, especially my whole view of the ending changed, actually, because I wasn't the biggest fan of the ending, but actually, really good. But yeah, Suspiria was a surprise.
Suspiria, we also had The Night Comes For Us, which I'm pretty sure I reviewed on the same episode as Suspiria, or maybe the episode before. Amazing time for Asian action cinema with Iko Uwais from the Raid series. Yeah. Amazing action film, but of course it wasn't the best action film of the year. I'll get back into that one later.
If I can just interject real quick, the best film none of you guys have seen this year, you probably never heard about it, I've told you about this enough, is I'll Take Your Dead, which I was able to see at Grimfest. In fact, we both were able to see it at Grimfest. And the only reason why I left out this top 10 is because obviously I thought the other 10 films were better. I also felt, compared to the other films where it's actual studios getting behind the project, I thought some of the production wasn't just as good.
Yeah,
but
that's fair enough.
If you guys are able to find I'll Take Your Dead, honestly, biggest shout out of the year right there. Biggest surprise of the year besides
That's always the best thing about those festival circuits as well. It was our first opportunity to work on a festival together last year. And you get to see films you wouldn't necessarily go out of your way to see them, because obviously everyone's so busy from day-to-day life. They're more inclined to either go on Netflix or go to the cinema to see wider releases. In that respect, so it's always great to see those sorts of things. Just a few others that I wanted to mention before we get going.
What a year, by the way, for Real Talk. What a year.
Yeah, we set some goals, and I like how you say that as well. Let's give ourselves a pat on the back, because we had the aim of reaching 1,000 followers on Twitter in the space of like a month or so.
Did that in May?
It's like the first few months of summer. We just smashed it. I was like hitting 100 followers a day on Twitter.
It was great.
Built the audience up. Managed to get accredited for numerous festivals,
including Grimfest, which is brilliant.
And now we're nearly on 2,000 followers, and that number's sure to rise. Throughout this year, and we're sure to work on a number of festivals again this year.
This year, if we want to talk to the audience a little bit, what we really want to do is we really want to establish a Real Talk website where we're going to be able to talk about some things that we just can't do on camera.
Exactly.
Whether that because Jamal and I can't make it for a show, or we really want to publish a review of a film, or give an opinion piece. So this year as well, in 2019, we're really going to even go further. We're going to focus on, we're still consistent with our videos, but we're going to get even better for you guys.
Yeah, we want to come up with some new ideas and stuff. So I don't know about you, but I'm really into like analysing single movies. So maybe we could try and do a show just breaking down one particular film, going in depth on that.
Well, the main thing here is just that this is only the beginning for this channel.
We've got so many different possibilities. And we're glad that so many people... the reception's been unreal.
Brilliant. And we can't thank you guys enough for consistently watching. And should we just hop into the movies then?
Right. you want me to go first?
Yeah, go for it.
Right. Number 10, and I'm surprised actually how much I love this film.
By the way, can we just say we don't know each other's list?
Yeah,
we don't know.
We don't have a clue. We don't have a clue.
Carry on, mate.
Number 10. Yeah, I was really surprised how much I love this film. I was curious about it, but the main reason why I wasn't so hyped about it, the film is Ready Player One.
Okay.
Is because the heavy use of CGI and stuff, and having seen so many great pure live action films around that time. It was a great start to the year last year. I think it came out around March or something.
Yeah, it was early.
So I just wasn't in the mood for a big blockbuster. And the March window for a blockbuster is always a bit of a question mark, isn't it? You don't really associate that with it was essentially like a summer blockbuster before summer. But Steven Spielberg knocked it out of the park. It was like a renaissance for him. Made me feel like a kid again. The work he must have put in to get the licensing for so many different products, films. The soundtrack was amazing.
Yeah.
And it's that whole idea of taking the world of video games and make it an immersive experience for the viewer.
In a way, it felt like it was made in the 80s and it only came out today. Like a very retro feel. It
needed today's technology to do that.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
It was a film probably that he wanted to do in his peak of his powers, but for obvious reasons, the technology just wasn't available at the time.
Now, that film doesn't make it into my top 10, but I think even that would make my honorable mentions. It's Steven Spielberg, for me, has, in the past, recently, he's not made any bad films. Like, there's not a film that we can really point to and say, that was outright awful bad.
He's gone the direction of, like, office dramas, political dramas recently, hasn't he?
That's where his bread and butter is, political dramas. That's where I think that works. This is a step away from all that, a complete step away.
Having grown up with the likes of E.T., Jaws, though, and stuff, he was a bit of a spectacle director back in the day.
It hones back to that spectacle side.
So I think
100%.
it was a nice throwback for a lot of people.
Now, how we can do this? We can do
one
show.
for one.
Well, I was going to say, if you want to read off your 10 to 8.
You want me to do that? Okay.
Yeah, and then I'll read off my 10 to 8, and then we do 2 each after that, and then we'll bounce off from that. So what's your number 9 then?
So number 9 is a film that you just mentioned, didn't make it onto your top 10 list. Black Panther, just
great
revolutionary for the superhero genre. So big in terms of the influences it's had on pop culture throughout the world.
Changed the game.
Influences on not just in cinema, but in branding, in terms of clothing, in terms of the hip-hop culture. The album probably was one of the best albums of the year for me. But speaking about the film, just an unreal introduction to this character. It was a
reintroduction. He was in Civil War.
He was in Civil War, but he was surface level, you know. We didn't know his story. We couldn't get emotionally invested, even though his character was really interesting and cool. Obviously, going into this film, the excitement level was there, as Marvel has established itself as the best ever to
be in the game.
Introduce a character for the first time, to set up that first meeting between the audience member and the title character. What made this film sort of elevated to the next level was Michael B. Jordan's villain, Killmonger. The best villain. Oh.
Don't say it.
I just thought of Thanos.
This is what I was going to say. You're about to say... okay, so...
My mind's still in February 2018.
I get what you mean. And also...
He's the best... He's the best villain outside of the Avengers films. Yeah, that's definitely fair.
I think he's my third favorite villain in any superhero film. Yeah, I love Black Panther. It didn't make my list because obviously I think these films are better in some capacity, but Michael B. Jordan was
that's an Oscar-worthy performance, and the reason why there's an argument that he's the best villain in the history of Marvel's cinematic universe is because he had a legit reason for being the way he was. Yeah. He was, in his own mind, he was being the hero. He was wronged in his own mind, and he was trying to set the world to rights in a really psychotic and twisted way, but in a way that made sense to him. And he manipulated people into believing him, and that had a lot of sort of resonations with things that have happened in the world today.
Yeah.
Which, for a superhero movie in 2018 to be able to do that, I told you we have a £10 bet that whether it's going to make the Best Picture nomination.
I personally don't think so.
I really think it's going to do it after the Golden Globes nomination it got as well.
Well, the Golden Globes are known to be a little bit. Yeah. But no, I get what you mean.
I get what you mean.
But this isn't a thing though where I would be sad if it got nominated.
No. I thoroughly get what you mean though.
Yeah.
It was until Get Out got nominated last year.
I can understand.
Where for genre movies that are really bold, that wouldn't necessarily get a look in from the Academy. Purely because of what they represent and stand for.
Yeah.
That's why they should get nominated. And horror films and superhero films, when they're at their best, can knock any film out of the park. They can.
So what's your number 8 then, buddy?
Number 8, You Would Never Really Hear. Have you seen that?
I haven't.
Joaquin Phoenix.
And that's on my Amazon Prime to watch list, and I still haven't got around to it, but I've only heard great things.
That might have been the first film I watched in 2018. It came out really, really early. Went and watched it at home cinema. Was excited for it, and it just had that grainy art house style, amazing electro synth soundtrack. Super, super dark.
I heard some comparisons to Drive with the soundtrack.
Drive
I don't
in
know
the soundtrack, and then Taxi Driver just in terms of the sort of distorted nature of the character that Joaquin Phoenix plays. He's a very tormented character. You do in weird ways resonate with him, but then the actions that he does, he's a hitman, and he's hired to go and find this wealthy man's daughter who's been abducted, and he goes into a really dark place.
It's a film that I haven't been able to get around to just because, my life. I've been a bit busy, but you're not the first person for me to see that this is in the top 10. I've only heard great things about Joaquin Phoenix's performance. I mean, 2019, he's also going to be playing another little character. You guys can watch our most anticipated video to know what we're talking about. But that's a film where I've heard the grittiness really captures really the brutality of Joaquin Phoenix's character.
And his performance is just unbelievable. He definitely is the top 5. He's in the top 5 working actors today.
So?
100%, mate.
Do you want me to hop into my list then?
Let's go.
So, I don't think you've even seen this movie, walking into this film, I didn't know what to expect. Game Night.
I've seen it, bro.
You have seen it?
I really liked it.
Game Night was the biggest surprise, left me with a smile, and this is my favorite list. I'm not saying this film is quality better than a film like Black Panther.
Yeah.
So this is very personal. It's all subjective. So don't be writing in the comments like you're a racist. I know, okay? But this film was surprisingly entertaining. The cast is it's unbelievable. Jason Bateman and also Rachel McAdams knocked it out of the park. John Hamm's performance was also great. There was also Jesse Plemons, who played the cop in the film.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he gets nominated. He's the only one who I would say gets nominated for a supporting actor role. It's also unique. I think the idea to base off a full hour-and-a-half movie based around the idea that this whole group's playing a game.
Yeah.
And it's a crime film. It's definitely a crime film. And the quirky comedy moments mixed with the very dramatic elements almost work as if it was a Deadpool movie.
It's like a cinematic version of Cluedo.
Yes.
And just in terms of filmmaking, there are some really cool shots in that movie. We talked about this before. You know the little stick figure animations that were in Hereditary?
Yes.
They were already used in Game Night.
Yep.
And they're the only 2 times I've ever seen that done in a film.
And then we were also talking about how there's certain camera shots of the houses that make it look like it's something in like Monopoly or
that's
Game
what
of
I'm talking
Life.
about. That's what I'm talking about.
But what I'm saying is like those shots are just
awesome.
You walk away from that film saying that you remember that. You remember those cool moments more than almost any other part of the film because of how much it stands out. So, Game Night's my number 10, which might surprise a lot of people. It's not in your list, is it?
It's not in my list, no. I actually forgot about that movie, but it is. It was a fun time.
I love it. Now, number 9 is a film which I think has the best scene of 2018, and I was very sad to have it so low, and that is A Star Is Born. A Star Is Born is number 9.
That is low.
It's number 1 for most people. Like, it's a great film.
I had it as number 1 for a while, to be fair.
It is a great film. And the reason why I don't feel like it reaches the potential of other films. There's certain moments I've been talking to you about that I don't feel like it slows down. I feel like some of the character choices just don't make sense. But let's not lie to ourselves right here. This is Bradley Cooper's first movie directing, and it hits all the right notes. No pun intended. Pun fully intended. Okay. And he and Lady Gaga move this emotional roller coaster in a way I'm not sure many duos could. Okay.
Yeah, that was one of the most believable film couples I've ever seen.
Is it in your list?
100%.
Okay.
It's in my list.
I won't talk about too much then. Let's talk about more when we get to yours, and then I can talk about some other elements. Number 8 for me is, I think, Michael B. Jordan's best performance this year. In fact, I think this film he might actually get nominated for, Creed 2.
Wow.
Now,
I've still yet to see Creed 2.
Creed 2 is obviously the sequel to Creed, set in the Rocky universe. And it almost rises to the same level of quality as the original, on more or less. Okay, Creed 1 for me is the best boxing film of all time. But what they do in Creed 2 to really flesh out Michael B. Jordan's character, Adonis Creed, even more, and the performance by himself is one of his best alongside Fruitvale Station. And that is high praise. I don't know necessarily if he will get nominated for it. I also think it gives us the best villain. Which is, the Drago father and son duo coming in to fight Adonis Creed. And obviously there's that whole history of Ivan Drago killing Apollo Creed in Rocky IV, and there's a lot of history there, and the way they're able to integrate it with Ivan Drago's relationship with Sylvester Stallone's Rocky, and the way they're able to integrate Ivan Drago's son's relationship. And with Creed, there's a lot of similarities between the characters, and the way they're able to mirror each other is beautiful storytelling. The boxing sequences, outstanding.
Yeah,
the relationship between Michael B. Jordan and his girlfriend in the movie the chemistry is just so strong. Tessa Thompson, she is amazing in this film, and I feel like this movie really is more pandered towards her. Yeah. In the first one, we really introduced their character, but this one I feel like we go an extra step.
The first one was more his relationship with Rocky and Rocky's struggles in terms of like leaving the game, and then his actual health struggles as well.
And then Creed 2 is really about his life.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
Awesome.
And you still haven't been able to see it, have you?
No, I'm going to check it out probably when it comes out on Blu-ray.
No?
Probably going to check it out,
enough. Yeah. Alright, so that is my 10 to 8. What's your number 7 then, Jamal?
Number 7 is a film that we both nerded out about when it came out. Alex Garland's Annihilation.
Yes.
He has taken the science fiction genre by storm in such a short space of time, really, because for those of you that don't know, Alex Garland directed the terrific Ex Machina back in 2014, I believe. So he had a bit of a layoff. He had a long time to kind of conjure up his perception of what this story was, because I believe it was based on a series of novels, like 6 novels.
It was a short story, short stories mixed in together.
Exactly, and talk about finding unique material for this genre. It is
now, before we
crazy.
get too far, it is in my top 10. It's a bit higher up the list. Do you want to leave it for then?
Yeah, once we've got to your bit, we'll break it down.
So in that way, we're able to talk about it the same way. So that's your number 7.
Natalie Portman, awesome in that movie.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we're still going to talk a lot about it. It's just like, I'll be
the next one. I know for a fact is on your list as well.
Alright, 6, hit me.
Hereditary.
Oh, 1,000,000,000%.
Maybe the greatest pure horror film of all time. There's a strong argument for it being that.
I personally don't put it that high up, but it is very high, and for that reason, I'm going to ask you again. Let's
go in depth.
So shall I, no, but not yet. We're not going in depth
next.
yet.
I'm
later
talking about when we get to your bit, right?
So,
5. I know for a fact you've got this on your list.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I know where it is as well.
What's this?
Into the Spider-Verse. Don't tell me you forgot it.
No, it's in there. Okay, how about this?
I know where it is.
Let me rank. Let me rank mine. Not because.
Yeah, you just go with yours.
Yeah. Okay, and then if it's on your list, I'll save it for if it's higher on yours.
Yeah.
It's just so that we're not repeating each other
exactly.
when we go.
Let's
it's
go.
almost like we're like punting it to talk about later on.
Yeah.
So my number 7 is Black Klansman.
Yeah, I actually watched that the other day.
Is that in your top 10?
It's not, because I made this list in 2018, so I've actually watched it in 2019.
Oh, so okay, I get what you mean. Now I was able to see this in the theaters, and this story of Ron Stallworth infiltrating the KKK, it's almost modern. the way the story is told, like the modern racism, I guess. It's a very important film.
Yeah, a lot of it can be sort of resonated in today's society.
Yeah.
With the ending as well. Oh my God. You talk about it resonating with 2018 and what's going on in Donald Trump's America.
Yeah. I know.
Wow.
And the performance by John David Washington and also Adam Driver.
Adam Driver's awesome.
Adam Driver, I think, is going to get nominated for supporting actor. I don't know.
He should be.
I don't know about John David Washington. There's a few performances this year which I haven't seen, which I think might be better.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them all. But it's a great film about modern racism and also, obviously, just about this awesome motivational story and inspirational story of this black man.
He's trying to prove himself to the police.
Prove himself to the police station, which is all full of white people.
And at the same time, he's trying to bring his people to the notion that the police aren't pigs, as they call them.
Yeah.
They're actually trying to help their struggles, and they're trying to coincide in this society together.
And this film also does a lot for cops, I think. I think because of Adam Driver's character and a lot of the other police officers, how they interact with Ron Stallworth. It really shows that, hey, not every cop is bad. Not every white person is bad at all. But I think it also encapsulates what is wrong, maybe, with how we treat, subconsciously.
How we generalize.
Sure.
It's a massive story about how not to generalize people. Because like you said, like we both just said, the African Americans were massively prejudiced to the police.
Yes.
Because they felt they were being prejudiced against. And both had reasons to suggest that, because the character, that kind of the story comes full circle in the movie with the police officer who's massively racist to the title character. That is the stereotypical cop, which they will have had the perception of throughout that film.
That's who you think of.
Exactly.
But
that's we see the whole picture.
Yeah.
We're today's audience. We're the 2018 audience looking in the 70s.
And Spike Lee, the way he was able to write the dialogue between his characters, it gave even more color to the screen, and it brought even more
vibrancy.
And I think all these actors had great chemistry. Even the man who played the Grand Wizard, I can't remember his name. He was also Eddie Brock in Spider-Man 3. I felt like Topher Grace, that's his name. I feel like Topher did a great job.
He's always solid in whatever reason.
And I think overall, just BlacKkKlansman, brilliant.
Jordan Peele produced as well.
Yes. And
the guy can do no wrong.
And hopefully he won't do no wrong in 2019.
Please.
Number 6, then. A film that I know is not in your top 10, but I think if you watched it, it would be Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, I watched it. I watched it last week. I watched it last week.
Again, nice.
So, again, it can't come into my list.
It's an entertaining story about the journey of Queen, and I think Rami Malek gives the best performance of the year. I think he's going to be nominated, and I think he should win.
He should win. No, I completely agree. He should win.
I think that, although some people might say that is not the true story of Freddie Mercury or indeed Queen, I don't give a crap. You know what I mean? No, but this is what I mean.
In what sense?
They took me on a musical journey.
Yeah.
They gave me a story. Now, more or less, it was correct.
In what sense do you feel that it wasn't an accurate portrayal of him?
Well, what I just heard about certain characteristics and what happened with Queen and their journey. Just some things were a bit mythicized or whatever the word is. And
I know what you mean.
And a lot of people took problems with that. But I don't care. What Bryan Singer set out to do with this movie was give you a brilliant musical journey of this one of the best bands of all time. This troubled man, Freddie Mercury, his relationship to people, his crumbling of relationships with people, how his life developed with the band and how the band developed with him. It's not fully about Freddie Mercury, but it's a Freddie Mercury film.
Yeah, of course. It's a story of Queen, but he's the guy in school or in the friend group where he just got people gravitating towards him. Yeah. He's always in the spotlight. He's the center of attention. When he walks in the room, everyone's looking at him.
Because he's the guy that stands out. And I thought the way that he was portrayed in this was great for what the movie set out to do. I don't care how accurate it is for history.
And it was informative as well, though, because a lot of people didn't know the background where his family came from.
No.
I certainly didn't.
No, and I think it was important. I think it was very important to establish who his character was. But even besides that, the direction, the pacing, that ending, if you've seen it, that ending at the Live Aid concert. Goosebumps. And it's a long sequence, too. It's about 16, 15 minutes.
Have you seen the side-by-side comparison of the actual concert?
They did their best to replicate it, and they did it damn good job.
They just need to show that video at the Oscars and then hand Rami Malek the trophy.
To be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if there was like a kind of, not a tribute video, but a video showing that, just to kind of praise him for what he's done. I'll carry on, so I'm not baffling too long, but Bohemian Rhapsody, great film. Number 5 is a film that you mentioned earlier that I really wanted to talk about with you, Annihilation.
Yep.
Annihilation is a film that it skipped a lot of people's radar.
Because it was a Netflix
It was on Netflix in the UK, but then in America it was released in theaters for a while, but they had no money.
Okay.
I think that's because the marketing for it really let it down, because it misled a lot of people for it to be a full-on action film. And it's not an action film. It's a film about self-discovery. It's also a film that has a really scary polar bear with bones for its face. So props for that.
Yeah, one of the most twisted creatures you've ever seen.
And it's a brilliant story. Like I said, about discovering oneself. Natalie Portman, Tessa Thompson again.
The whole group is sort of like the female version of Predator in terms of the sort of interaction between the group that's in that film.
And the sci-fi element, which, if we're looking back at Ex Machina, that's what really stood out. Was how Alex Garland was really able to craft a film.
Something truly original.
It's truly original, creepy, scary. It nailed everything.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was great.
He's established himself as a director. Like so many guys who are surging through this independent scene right now, where if you see his name attached to that film, you're going to watch it regardless of whether you know what the plot's about.
You and me were hyped about Annihilation well before any trailers came out. You and I were always talking about it. But I'm so happy it lived up to the hype. Natalie Portman won't get nominated. Maybe she should. Maybe.
Did she win for Black Swan?
No, she didn't. She was nominated. She didn't win, though. I could be wrong. I'm going to say she didn't. If I'm wrong, just correct me in the comment section. I'm pretty sure she didn't. I was going to say, do you want to rattle off your number 4 and 3 then, my friend?
Got 5.
Have you not done your number
5 already told you. Yeah. 4, A Star Is Born. We talked about that.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say that has the best scene of all.
It's incredible. Both Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga chose to sing on film for real. You can see that as well, the reality within the film. It kind of ricochets into the relationships in the film.
No, I honestly, my heart was broken by the end because of the relationship.
Probably the most heartbreaking scene I've ever seen in a film is, and I'm going to spoil it because everyone should have seen this film.
Sure, if you're watching this,
just turn it off for this bit if you don't want to know.
Skip it like a minute.
The bit in the film where you can tell the relationship between Bradley Cooper and his brother in the film. He thought that there was some sort of thing where
right now.
He idolised his father, where he's like, no, he got out the car just before he was about to end his own life and was like, it was you that I always looked up to. And he's like reversing his car and you see a single tear, and I'm like, me and my mum just looked at each other and I was like, I can't look at my mum right now because I'm about to cry.
Sam Elliott's probably going to get nominated.
That was absolutely heartbreaking.
The scene at the end
that made his whole life. That gave him like reason to live. His brother.
And then it's just heartbreaking. Then obviously minutes later he kills himself.
Yeah.
Best scene. If we're gonna, well, I guess we're gonna say. I'll say this as a spoiler. The ending where it cuts from Lady Gaga singing on stage, and then.
Horrible, man.
But what really took my surprise was he leaves the mental hospital place, whatever, rehab. And it goes back, says, hey, I wrote you a song. About to play it, we don't hear it. And I thought, when they didn't show it, I was like, oh, that's surprising. And I thought, it makes sense because they're having an intimate moment, and I guess that's just something for us to imagine. Then at the end, when she's singing, and you don't know, you don't realize that it's a song that he wrote for her. But then when it cuts to him singing from what we missed earlier.
It's horrible.
And it
goes through all the sequences in the movie.
It hits you so hard. And then it's just simplicity of him just singing to her on the piano. Everything comes out at once. All the emotions, all the love. Although these characters have been through so much, they still love each other.
And what a talented man Bradley Cooper is. He has a pure passion and love for cinema, and it was actually Clint Eastwood that gave him the go-ahead to go and direct a film.
Clint Eastwood was originally thinking of directing it. Yes, and then Bradley Cooper took over.
It was because of their relationship on American Sniper. I think he studied Clint Eastwood heavily during that.
You can tell the grittiness in this film. What's your number 3 then, buddy?
3, I've got Halloween. Everyone knows how much I love this movie.
It's good.
That, for me, just... like, I know I spoke about Suspiria being, and even Hereditary, they are two of the best horror films, right? But for me, horror was about slasher movies growing up. They were fun rather than scary. I could deal with that as a young kid, and that was just a massive nostalgic feeling for me. I've not watched, like, whilst I've been a pure cinephile since about the age of like 13, 14, something. I've not seen a slasher released in a cinema, and to be fair, it's a dying out genre, so I don't really get it.
This film though rejuvenates the genre.
It felt like a classic to me. Like it was actually scary. Michael Myers was an absolute badass in this movie. Jamie Lee Curtis was an even bigger badass. She had a Sigourney Weaver moment in this movie.
That whole climax at the end.
Everything tied together beautifully. Bonkers. It all made sense, and the opening scene. Oh, that gave me goosebumps, man. That gave me so much adrenaline when they're in that mental institution.
Oh, yeah.
And that he's screaming at Michael, and then the classic intro comes on as well.
Yeah, the piano.
Beautiful. Blumhouse, you're killing it. Keep it going, man.
No. I don't have too much to say. I like the film. I didn't love it. You and I have talked about it. I respect it. I understand why you love it more than I do. That's the film that hits closer for you. You're the bigger horror guy.
Exactly.
And so for you, that hits more the right tones. For me, I've told you this before. I'm not gonna be too negative about it.
That's even like for me. I know it's not a better film than most of these films on the list.
But I mean, you're talking to a guy that has Game Night as his number 10. You know what I mean? This film's all about what we love, and I respect you for that.
Exactly.
I just think you're wrong. Number four is a film.
Ruin it.
Number 4 is Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
And let me tell you, I was not expecting anything. I expected nothing.
The reviews going crazy, and I was like, yeah, it'll probably be good, but it's not gonna like affect me or anything like that. I'm just gonna watch it. I'm probably gonna have a good time. I thought I'm just gonna waste an afternoon and go and watch it. I was actually pretty bummed out that my mate wanted to go and watch it instead of Aquaman, because I was really hyped to go and watch Aquaman. So I thought, right, we'll go and watch it. The animation style in that film
unique.
Is just unreal.
It almost feels like you're watching an anime movie and then a live action movie, and then you're reading a comic book at the same time.
And then probably playing the video game on PS4 as well.
And there's so much. There's so many Easter eggs as well in this that hype you out. You don't even have to be a diehard fan.
When they kind of go back to Spider-Man 3, a certain scene in Spider-Man 3. It's like a Deadpool sort of moment where
brilliant.
It's breaking the fourth wall to the audience and saying, look, this is the kind of direction we're going on. We're going to have a fun ride.
Yeah.
And it's not just a fun ride. It's emotionally hard-hitting. Yeah. Miles Morales is a character that hardcore Spider-Man fans have wanted to see on this big screen for years.
And when people saw that he was going to be first introduced in cinemas in an anime movie, people thought,
an eye roller.
People thought like, oh great, so But in a way, now he's going to be even more influential to kids in the live action.
Exactly, because all you see on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram is, we need Miles Morales in the MCU. And even Tom Holland's saying, I want Miles Morales in the MCU.
And there's nothing. This film is able to show that you can have Peter Parker, which is Peter B. Parker in this, and the dynamic of all the different Spider-Mans, how they all play together, whether it's Spider-Noir, Spider-Ham, Spider-Man 2099, and also Spider-Gwen. Yeah. All these different Spider-Mans, it's almost impossible for them all to connect well and have proper depth, proper characters. It does.
It just happens naturally.
And it's great, and it's funny.
It's so funny.
It's a kid's film, and it's funny.
Yeah.
Like, that's what
it's a kid's film. No, it's not a kid's film. It's just an appeal to all ages film.
It's seemingly a kid's film. It's not a kid's film, but when we first saw the trailers, we're like, it's a kid's film. Like, it's not going to be great. And then we're here like, wait, is it the best superhero movie?
Here's a question. Is it the best Spider-Man film ever made?
No.
What is the best Spider-Man film ever
after
made?
I saw it, though, I did say yes. Yeah. After I saw it, I said it's the best Spider-Man film. Spider-Man 2 is better. Spider-Man 2 is better. I know a lot of people...
Is your top 3 Spider-Man 2, Into the Spider-Verse, and Homecoming?
Yes.
Same.
That's it. Yeah. And Spider-Man 2... I won't talk too much about it, but I just think Spider-Man 2 is just also on another level of superhero films.
Crazy good.
And then number 3 is Infinity War.
Yeah. I've got Infinity War. Okay. So we can talk about it now.
We'll talk about it now because that's obviously the next one. Wow.
Yeah.
Like, I just remember watching it at midnight and the ending, which by the amount of money that movie made, you've seen it, so we can spoil that because everyone's seen that. The audacity I don't care if these characters die forever or not, but the audacity for that, and then the ending of everyone just brutally dying. Spider-Man dying, and
we
Tony
know
Stark.
Spider-Man is not dead, but I still cried when he died.
No, yeah.
I still cried when he died.
It's this movie, I think, what we're talking about, Black Panther, is great, okay? Whether it's about it revolutionizing race, pushing through the barriers.
Racing comic book movies, yeah.
But this movie really shows the potential of a comic book movie. The Dark Knight was able to show, I think, the crime drama elements of this was able to encapsulate
pure spectacle,
a superhero. Like when I say a superhero movie, I mean a action.
That is a comic. That is a literal comic book brought to life. That's what you imagined as a kid. We've seen a bunch of like filler movies set up, but this is the big thing that it's all been leading to. All these characters you wouldn't believe to be on the same screen, in the same scene together. You have Guardians of the Galaxy interacting with Thor, and then you have Captain America, you have Spider-Man, Iron Man, all these guys, and then in the same movie, we have the guy in the background for the whole nearly 10 years that's been going on. Thanos comes in and steals the show.
Yeah, and this is why I was a bit iffy when you were talking about Killmonger, which Killmonger is great. But Thanos
for a human villain.
No, for a human. No. I just meant like a villain in general, like superhero. Like, what they did with Thanos, number one, the technology behind him, incredible. I mean, that's the only word I can say is incredible for what they did. To really give that character arc in one movie. We have seen him in the background. We saw him in Guardians of the Galaxy for 2 minutes. We didn't see him, though. We didn't see what his character was about. And then this film, immediately, we see the badassery.
Exactly.
Of him.
That is the way how you do it. He crushed Hulk like he was nothing. Mm-hmm. He killed Loki in the opening scene.
It wasn't even that he beat him. It was just that it was easy.
With one hand. He's slamming him around.
And so, I mean, there's not really much we can say about Infinity War that we haven't. But I mean, just... this only gets me even more excited for
Endgame. Is going to be crazy.
But for the future of the MCU, a lot's going to happen, man. A lot's going to happen.
The Avengers going to change. We've got the X-Men and Fantastic Four coming through.
Oh, can we also just talk about how amazing the Wakanda fight scene is?
Yeah, crazy. When Thor comes in with that hammer.
And the music kicks in.
If you ever want to feel more like a man, just watch that scene.
Just watch Chris Hemsworth. That's what you do.
Comes in and smashes them all.
And I honestly think it's going to be so hard for them to even match what they did with this film, honestly.
Because we all know going into it that even though it's billed as this fight for the ages, they're going up against the biggest test yet, they're going to beat him. It's a Disney-owned product, and the essence of these movies are that the heroes always come out on top. We've seen in a Disney film the villain win and wipe out everyone.
It's not important. A cliffhanger. That's the ending of the movie.
Ending of that story. There's no Infinity War Part 2. It's Endgame now. That film, that's a definitive ending to that
so
story.
Right now in that universe, and that film is the end of Spider-Man. That's the end of Black Panther. That's the end of all these characters. And that leads me to be excited for what's going to happen this year, obviously, with Endgame. So that was your number 2, you also said, right? Yeah. So I'll say my number 2.
Yeah, then we'll get some
which is Hereditary.
Right, yeah.
And Hereditary, I don't think it's my favorite horror film of the year. But oh my word. Toni Collette in this movie?
Oh my god, she gives me nightmares still,
If she doesn't get nominated...
She won't get nominated.
If she doesn't get nominated, that is... one of the biggest snubs. And when I say snub, I mean she could win. Okay?
Yeah, she should win. She should win. Arguably the scariest film in horror history. With eyes having not seen the whole movie, you'd be laughing thinking, what are you talking about? The dinner scene. That is the scariest film in horror film history for me.
I'm also kind of baffled. People can think whatever they want movies, but I'm also quite baffled how people were able... Like, in my theater, people were laughing during some of the sequences.
Same.
And so, it was kind of annoying me because I was thinking to myself, either you're not actually... People were expecting something different, and so once it wasn't what the trailers depicted to be,
I think that's the same thing with The Witch, though, but obviously this had garnered a lot more attention because it was a lot more prevalent on social media than The Witch was.
Yeah.
And I think people could guess that The Witch was going to be a lot more of a slow burner.
Yeah.
This was a slow burner, but oh my god, if it hadn't have been, you wouldn't have cared about the characters at all. The reason why it's so scary is because you feel like you're watching a real family go through grief and struggle to cope with it. The ending is like... I know there are stark comparisons to The Witch as well, but I'm talking about the build-up to the ending.
Yeah.
It goes full-on Exorcist.
Oh, no, it goes crazy. It goes balls to the walls.
Literally on the walls, bro.
Literally on the walls.
That scene is one of the most cleverly crafted scenes I've ever seen.
That scene made me scared to look into closets, to look up in the sky. If something was behind, I just wanted to stand on the wall and just make sure I see everything.
I nudged my mate I was watching with, because I could tell he hadn't seen it, because he was just chilling, and I was like, look in the top corner. And he's like, what?
I think my dad will remember this. When I was watching with him, I think there was either a time where I was either struggling on his arms or I was either punching him like, do you see it? And it's
I can't watch it again, man.
Show don't tell. That's what this film does well. One of the best horror films of all time. I'm really sad that it's not getting as much love as I'm giving it right now. You and I are giving it, but...
I don't think that's the case, though. I think the people that aren't giving it love do not understand why this film is so great, because they had different expectations.
Maybe they just don't like it, though. I mean, well, we'll be fair. For people...
I think hardcore horror fan, like... It's got not universal acclaim, it's got, like, insane critical acclaim from the people that liked it. People don't just like it, they adore it.
People love it.
It's like Marmite, man. People either love it or they hate it.
I get you. I don't think
that's art at the end of the day.
It's very much centered towards people who like to read into films as well.
Yeah.
Like being able to. It's
built for an essay analysis.
It's not The Conjuring.
No.
It's not. And I think Conjuring might be better than Hereditary, but it's not an easy watch.
It's not a film for casual film goers.
No,
it's not.
And for that,
it's not a box office movie.
That's what I mean. It's not a box office.
A24 killing it.
All right, mate. Well, I think we both had the same number one. If we don't, I'm going to shoot you in the face.
I know you've got the same number one. I know what my number one is, and I know how much you loved it.
All right. If it's the same one, we'll say it in 3, 2, 1.
Mission Impossible Fallout.
Oh, 100%.
The best action film ever made
of all time.
Ever.
It's not even close.
Bro, I remember you'd watched it for the 3rd time.
Yeah.
You watched it 3 times in a week.
Yeah. I've seen it 9 times now.
I still only seen it once. The first time I saw it, we walked out hyped on adrenaline.
And the
Henry Cavill reloads his hands in a fight scene. Can you get any more badass than that?
You and I talked about this. There's probably about 4 action sequences in that where we can say, is that the best action sequence of all time? Is that there's the Skyfall scene, which
Tom Cruise has a helicopter chase through a Norwegian valley that wide.
But let's talk about the technological achievements of this. Okay, the fact that Tom Cruise is able to put himself through all this stunt work.
Yeah.
And for them to pull off an action film, that adds a different dynamic to action movies in general. When you're seeing this and you're like, you know what, that person actually did that.
And it's not just a stunt fest.
No.
The story's incredible. No. It's part of a wider arc. Obviously, it's a direct sequel to Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation. So it's direct sequel to the 5th film in the franchise. The same villain is lurking in the background. Yeah. And like you said, the amount of crazy things that go on in this movie, the skydive, the scene in Paris where Tom Cruise is going up against moving traffic the opposite way of a roundabout. Talking about intensity.
It's a film where at the end of it you have to let out all the tension.
You feel like you can go and take on the world, man.
And I think, but this is another thing that really impressed me with this movie, and this is something that's not really common in action movies, and I don't mean to put every other action movie down on the floor, because we're blessed with the amount of action movies we're getting.
True.
But this movie is able to give us 10 out of 10 action. It's also able to provide a fantastic story.
For the cinematic world that's so encapsulated by CGI scenes where you're just like, yeah, it's good, but it's just not believable. Tom Cruise literally broke bones to give us the goodness that was in this film. Every great thing about this film was all done for real.
Yeah.
Everything. And he actually fell out of a helicopter.
I know. And that the thing is, though, we're not sitting there saying, "Oh, that's why it's good." No, that's why it makes it better.
It makes it believable.
Yeah,
everything happened. The fight scene in the toilet might be one of the best.
It's one of the best fight, and that's probably not the best scene in the film.
Not even close to the best scene.
The fight scene in the toilets probably isn't even the best action sequence in the film. Yet, in a lot of movies, like maybe say, I love The Raid, but in The Raid, a lot of those type of scenes, you know what I mean?
It's all hand based.
Instead of having a car chase at the end, it's a helicopter chase. Instead of it being a regular chase, it's a skyfall chase. Yeah. So, the movie revolutionizes action.
And obviously it introduces new, interesting characters, which is obviously the best way to keep a franchise fresh. You've got him actually going up against like a glorified Hollywood A-star since the third one, because it was Philip Seymour Hoffman in the third one. He's not been up against a A-lister since the third one. It's not really a franchise built up against a big villain.
No, they don't. It's not really like a Bond movie.
No,
there isn't.
But it felt like that.
Instead of this being a villain, and that's a group or an idea, you know what I mean? It's really Sean Harris and Henry Cavill against Tom Cruise and his team.
Henry Cavill is like the freaking Terminator in this film.
There's a scene at the end where they have the fight and it's on top of a cliff.
He just won't die.
And here's the thing, this movie could have really gone towards the way of us never having another Mission Impossible again. And I would have been fine, but now we're hearing that Mission Impossible 7 and 8's coming out. Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, well, that's good and all, but how are you ever going to top
Christopher McQuarrie has already said that Tom Cruise has got some crazy,
ideas.
He's got some crazy ideas in a non-swearing manner of language.
That crap crazy.
I'm gonna try and suggest that maybe they're gonna strike up a deal with NASA and he's gonna do the space jump. How can you get more crazier than what he's done in that film? How?
Well, it'd be cool. Now they say it, imagine the Skyfall sequence, but instead of him being able to infiltrate through the sky, he has to go up out of the atmosphere and dive straight in.
Yeah. I think they're going to do something
I don't know.
like that.
Well, but this is what I mean, though. Whatever they do, I don't know how it's going to top this, and that's how good.
And these films are going to be great because they've retained everything that was great about 5 and 6.
Yeah. And so
the cast and the director.
And that's it for me. That's all. I don't need to say any more about Fallout. If you haven't seen Mission Impossible Fallout, watch it. If you didn't love it as much as us, then.
But did you think at the end of 2017 that you were going to sit here and say Fallout is the best film of 2018?
Honestly, I didn't think Mission Impossible Fallout. I didn't think Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse, Annihilation, Bohemian Rhapsody. I had a feeling about
Halloween. I didn't think for me that was going to be there. I couldn't have predicted any of my top 10 apart from Infinity War. I knew Infinity War was.
We always had that feeling.
But yeah, what an amazing year 2018
honestly,
was.
one of the best years ever for film.
And we got to spend it together, man.
Didn't even mention Deadpool 2, and Deadpool 2 was awesome.
Deadpool 2 was awesome. I had that in my top 20, on 19 out of 20 to be fair.
What else did you have on there, mate?
So I had number 20, I had Aquaman, Deadpool 2, number 19. 18, Sorry to Bother You, which is an amazing film. Mandy, 17. Have you watched Sorry to Bother You? I loved it. I just loved it for its uniqueness. I'm not going to mention what it's about.
We'll carry on.
Mandy is pretty awesome. Nicolas Cage, just messing up a
First Man.
Yeah, First Man.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but how is a Damien Chazelle movie not in my top 10? It's great. It's not great. It's really good,
but it just didn't have that.
Most directors want that to be the best movie, and that's his worst movie so far.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
As an achievement in filmmaking, like actually what he did visually for that film,
Brilliant.
It's incredible, but it lacks substance. It just did for me. Solo, A Star Wars Story. I love that movie. I loved it for what it was.
I know you did.
It massively surprised me. I had a great time with it. I know it's not by no means a classic or anything, but it's a fun popcorn summer film, and I needed that at the time, and it delivered. A Quiet Place, obviously.
Oh no!
Just highlighting what an amazing year for horror it was.
That's going to get nominated for a Best Picture.
No, it's not.
That's going to get nominated for Best Picture. I'm telling you.
It's not.
I think it might.
I would like it to be.
This film's been incredible.
Snapped part of that off because I got so excited.
Mission Impossible Fallout makes you break your computer.
Yeah, just say macho. Suspiria, number 14. Night Comes for Us, First Man, and then Bad Times at the El Real, because we spoke about that before.
Yeah, it's a great film. Now, obviously, these movies only puts up the potential for what 2019 can do. Now, If you guys haven't seen it already, you can watch our video, which is the highly anticipated movies of 2019.
Please watch that.
And thank you for watching this video, guys.
Yep, we're going to keep you updated this year with reviews, news, and interviews, and film festivals. We're going to be bringing all the coverage.
Grimfest again this year, obviously.
100%. Yeah.
Right. Well, if you guys also follow us on Twitter, at Real Talk Keys.
Yep. And YouTube. We need those YouTube followers as well.
Yeah, if you're watching this, please give it a like. It only takes you about 5 seconds, and that helps the channel grow so much.
It means we can get to more cool places.
It means we can give you also more cool videos in the future, which hopefully we can do.
Thanks so much, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Bye.